What up? This is DJ Crate Digger from cratedigger.com. We are going to run through a tutorial today that shows how to use your S9 mixer. We're going to kind of use it like a beat sampler or a loop sampler to just kind of add some variation, a little funk, a little creativity to our DJ sets. Now, everything that we do today is going to be done with regular vinyl. We're not even going to use a laptop today. This can be done with Serato DJ or with the laptop, but this is mainly used, or best used in my opinion, well, I won't say best used, but we can maximize its use by using regular vinyl, because in Serato DJ, of course, you have the loop function and the flip function, and there's a lot of things you can do with the laptop. But when you're just playing vinyl, sometimes your creativity to do certain things is limited by the lack of technology. Well, we're going to kind of use the technology in the S9 to do some things with regular vinyl that we usually can't do. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set our echo beat effects on the S9. We're going to change our parameter all the way up to 4, which is 4 beats or 4 counts. And we're going to change our level or depth setting to maximum. So we're going to turn that all the way to the right. So echo is on, echo set to 4. Level is all the way to max. Now, the last thing we need to do is we need to know what tempo we're going to work our loop in. Now, it depends on how you want to use this quote-unquote trick as to what tempo you set it in. You can set it in the tempo of the track you're playing to make remixes on the fly, or to loop things on the fly to make ins and out for track transitions. You can set the BPM to a different BPM, so you can use it to go into a different tempo song, or into a different, as a transition, to go from 100 BPMs down to 75 BPMs if you want. There's different ways to do it. But remember, when you set your tempo for your loop, the loop tempo will lock in and rotate on that tempo, and it will, at times, if not set properly, clash with whatever tempo your vinyl is spinning at. All right? So everything we do today in this tutorial is going to be based on Commons Go, which is 105 BPM.
Go, go, go,
so we're going to tap in the tempo.
Go, and on the count of 3. Go, 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 and on the count of 3.
So now we're going to take it back to the top. Now what we do can be done on either platter. It does not have to be done on just the left platter. Either platter works. So now the next step is to know what we want to sample in. And we're just going to get the drum. All right. So first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we know what we're going to sample in. So we're going to start with that kick. We're going to flip our paddle up. And because we're not sending any feed through that channel, there's nothing looping yet. But once we send any audio in, it'll kind of engage the loop, and everything will be on a 4 count loop. All right, so we'll start with the kick. And now you hear it playing back. And it's playing back on that 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now we're going to bring in the snare. And when I bring in the snare, I'm going to turn my lows off, so it's just that the highs and mids of the snare. Now you hear that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in some hi-hats. So we're going to skip to the end of the track. There's actually some little bells that we're going to sample in, and I'm just going to do a little filter to those so they kind of separate in the soundscape. Now you can hear those in there, kind of like the hi-hats. And now last thing we'll do is add in the scratch from the acapella. So now that we scratched in all these parts, and because it's playing out through the internal effect module, I can bring my faders, triton faders down so I don't accidentally send anything into there. Alright, so now the magic of this, aside from what we've already set as far as building this new little breakdown or beat break or whatever you want to call it, is that now we can, without moving to the other deck, regardless if we're on left or right, we can now do stuff on top of that. But we got to remember, we need to turn our lock off. It'll still keep looping because we have the maximum or the infinite loop setting on, so it's going to keep going. So now that we've turned our lock off, anything that comes through this channel now is not going to be diverted or sent to the echo effect module that's internal, but it'll still take audio through that channel, so we can just scratch over top of that. And none of that goes into the effect module. So at this point we have a couple different options. We can just bring in the acapella and just do a live remix. And remember, all of the effects are playing out through your master volume. So if you need to do leveling, you got to kind of use this as your master and echo levels, and you're going to use your trim to bring your vocals or whatever in the decks up or down in relation to that. But always keep in mind where your staging is for your master out. Now, the magic of what we're about to do is that we can kind of punch in other things to go along with that. But we got to remember, anything we send in stays in. So if we mess up, we can't take it out without taking everything out. So in the verse, I'm going to just grab one of these words out the verse. Now when we bring it in, instead of flicking the paddle up, we're going to snap the paddle down just to get that little piece that we want. Because if we flip the paddle up, we throw everything off. So when we come back into the verse, so now you have, so we could continually add things in, but every time we add in, we have to make sure we bring that paddle down. If we flip that paddle up, it'll throw our loop off. And once again, because the paddle is not engaged, then the audio that we send is not going into the echo effect, but it is still playing out through the channel based on where we at with our channel fader and our crossfader. I'm going to add one last part in. So now, from there we can go into another track. We can play a acapella. We can do whatever we want. All right. So now, let's say that we have that going, and we want to go into a different. So just say we want to transition to our next song, which will use the flip side of the Go single, which is Shy City. Clearly, that's a different tempo. And because the echo effect is not connected to any of our faders, whether it's our channel faders or crossfader, we have to figure out how to cut it off. There's a couple different ways. We can take the level knob, turn it all the way to the left, and that'll turn it off. But when we turn it back up to reset for our next effect or our next echo in or whatever we want to do next, it'll bring that volume back up. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it down, play the track, and then we're going to take our parameters and take our parameter all the way down to 1/32, 1/32. And then we're going to hit our paddle down real quick. All right, so once again, that's a 3-step process. Your knob level is going to go all the way to minimum. Take your echo parameter all the way down to 1/32, and then tab your paddle back once, and that'll basically clear it out. So this is what it will sound like without playing the track. So now that I've turned it back, we basically cleared the sampler or cleared everything we played into the loops. All right, now had I dropped the track and then went through that process, it would have sounded a little different. All right, so we're going to go through it one more time real quick. This time we're going to use Shy City as my example. We're just going to walk through it. I got echo set to 4, echo on, level max, set my tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's saying about 89 BPM. And we're going to do this on the fly the same way if we was in the mix right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Add a snare. We're going to add a scratch in. Now we're going to bring the pedal down. We're going to just throw cuts over top. Now we're going to throw in another part that we want to add, and remember, we're going to paddle down for that real quick. That way we added that part without changing anything up. All right, so now if we had that in the mix, we want to go through the process of going into our next song. So I'm going to drop go on the other deck. And after I drop it, I'm going to clear out the samples that we brought in over here. And just like that, I've cleared the sampler, and we can go back and do the same thing on the other side on the fly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. There you go. So we can do this back and forth, back and forth. And if you really want to go crazy with it, while that's playing, I can add stuff in on this side. And I use that same process on this side. So now I have samples from both decks going at the same time. So I can really just build a whole new track, a whole new soundscape as I'm moving in between these two records. All right. Now I won't swear to it, but any mixer that has, functionality and has that infinite setting, I would assume you can use this same process. Of course, every mixer is different on how its internal effects modules work. So you would have to mess around with each individual mixer to kind of lock in how that process works best with different mixers. But the concept is just based on the fact that the internal effects processors take whatever you play in and play it on a continual loop based on the tempo that you set. And those echoes, effects, are independent of what is being played in each of the channels, as long as the channel is not engaged to send or route its audio to the effects. All right? So, mess with it, add it in. Once again, I'm DJ Crate Digger, the Mighty Sound Champion crew. You're in the lab here on CrateDigger.com. Peace and love. One.